All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay. The headlines. Indian Air Force pilot Abhinandan Varthaman returns home. Shelling by Pakistan forces across the LOC in Jammu and Kashmir continues for the 8th day. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says government is committed to the welfare of farmers and fishermen. Prime Minister to inaugurate Construction Technology India 2019 Expo-cum-Conference in New Delhi today. And at least 23 security personnel killed in Taliban attack on a joint US-Afghan base in southwestern Afghanistan. Indian Air Force Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman arrived in New Delhi last night after he was handed over to Indian authorities by Pakistan at Atari-Wagah border. Briefing media at the Wagah border, Air Vice Marshal R.G. Kapoor said Abhinandan was handed over to India as per standard operating procedures.
Wing Commander Abhinandan will now be taken for a detailed medical checkup. This checkup is mandated particularly because the officer has had to eject from an aeroplane which would have put his entire body under great stress. IAF is happy to have Abhinandan back.
The IAF pilot was captured by Pakistani authorities on February 27th after an aerial engagement between the air forces of the two countries, a day after New Delhi conducted counter-terror operations in Pakistan's Balakot over the Pulwama terror attack. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has welcomed Wing Commander Abhinandan back to the country, saying the nation is proud of his exemplary courage. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said that the country's armed forces are an inspiration for 130 crore Indians. Several leaders, including Rahul Gandhi, have also welcomed and lauded Abhinandan for his poise and courage. In Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan Army continued ceasefire violation on the 8th consecutive day yesterday in the border districts of Poonch and Rajouri by targeting Indian posts and civilian areas. Our correspondent reports that Indian troops are giving effective and befitting reply to Pakistan's indiscriminate firing and heavy shelling.
In Poonch sector last night, Pak Army again using artillery fires and long-range mortar shells in several forward villages, killing 3 members of a family, including a woman and her 2 children, and injuring 4 others, including 2 civilians and 2 army personnel, one of them a major. Due to the intense firing and shelling by Pak troops in the twin border districts of Rajouri and Poonch, several families from Julas area of Poonch have started migrating to safer places. R.K. Raina, AR News, Jammu.
Meanwhile, 2 terrorists were killed in an encounter with security forces at Handwara and Kupwara district of the state yesterday. 2 J&K police personnel and 2 CRPF personnel, including inspector, were martyred in the exchange of fire. 5 security personnel, including commanding officer of CRPF, also was injured. A civilian youth was also killed in the incident. France has reiterated its complete solidarity with India in the fight against terrorism in all its forms. French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian has welcomed the easing of tensions between India and Pakistan and the release of the IAF pilot Abhinandan Varthaman. The minister said France, which is assuming the presidency of the United Nations Security Council from Friday, will do its utmost so that those responsible for the terrible Pulwama attack are sanctioned. The US, the UK and France on Wednesday moved a fresh proposal in the UN Security Council to designate Pakistan-based terror group JEM chief Masood Azhar as a global terrorist. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on a Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that over 1 crore farmers have got the first installment of 6,000 rupees per year under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme. Inaugurating a slew of development projects at Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu yesterday, he said his government ensured that the scheme is rolled out in record 24 days of its announcement.
NDA government's Kisan Samman Nidhi is not a once in a few year scheme. Benefits will be given every year, and in 10 years, about 7.5 lakh crore rupees would have gone to hard-working farmers.
The Prime Minister said 1,900 fishermen from Tamil Nadu have been freed from Sri Lankan detention due to diplomatic efforts by the centre since 2014. Mr. Modi flagged off the country's second Tejas rail service between Madurai and Chennai Egmore. Later, speaking at a public meeting in Visakhapatnam last evening, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the government is committed for the welfare of farmers and fishermen. He said a separate department has been set up with 7,500 crore rupees for fulfilling the various needs of fishermen.
केंद्र सरकार ने हाल ही में मछली के व्यवसाय से जुड़े साथियों के लिए कुछ और बड़े फैसले लिए हैं। इस बजट में ऐलान किया गया है कि मछली के व्यवसाय की जरूरतों के लिए अलग से एक डिपार्टमेंट बनाया जाएगा। सरकार ने 7,500 करोड़ रुपए का एक फंड भी बनाया है जो मछली पालन से जुड़ी तमाम आवश्यकताओं पर ध्यान देगा।
Expressing the NDA government's commitment for the welfare of the Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Modi said, long-pending demand for separate South Coast Railway Zone has been fulfilled, which will facilitate people and trade of the region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Construction Technology India 2019 Expo-cum-Conference in New Delhi this morning. Our correspondent reports that technology providers, researchers, startups, developers, academia, public sector agencies, and other domain experts will participate in the two-day event.
The Construction Technology India Conference will provide avenues for stakeholders to open up new areas for collaboration and facilitate conversion of ideas into market-ready products. Proven technologies which are identified during CTI 2019 will be further invited to design and build lighthouse projects of nearly 1,000 housing units, each in Gujarat, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Tripura and Uttar Pradesh. Sheila, AI News, Delhi.
President Ramnath Kovind has issued an order extending the benefits of reservation to economically backward sections in Jammu and Kashmir. Sources said that a notification in this regard was issued after a meeting of the Union Cabinet took a decision on Thursday to issue the order. The 10% reservation for economically weaker sections has been made applicable in Jammu and Kashmir. Air Marshal Raghunath Nambiar, who played a prominent role in the Kargil operations, has taken over as the Air Officer Commanding-in-Chief of Western Air Command of the Indian Air Force. The Air Marshal is an alumnus of the National Defence Academy and was commissioned in the flying branch of the Air Force as a fighter pilot in June 1981. In Afghanistan, at least 23 security forces have been killed in a Taliban attack on a joint US-Afghan base in southwestern Afghanistan yesterday. Defense Ministry spokesman Ghafoor Ahmed Javed at the end of the operation said 23 security men were killed and 15 injured while 20 insurgents were eliminated at the Shorab military base. In cricket, India will take on Australia in the first ODI of the 5-match series at the Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium in Hyderabad today. The match will start at 1:30 p.m. This series will be a dress rehearsal for India as the hosts are going to play the last ODI series before the ICC World Cup 2019. And now, for an overview of today's newspapers, it's over to Anuja Kumar.
Thank you, Abhishek. The story, IAF Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman is back from captivity in Pakistan, is splashed all over the front pages of newspapers this morning. Heartfelt Abhinandan leads the Times of India. Abhinandan arrives to hero's welcome, says The Hindu, adding, crowds throng Wagah border post, pilot whisked away by IAF authorities after Pak hands him over. 5 martyred after Ultra presumed dead opens fire, 1 terrorist killed, reports The Pioneer on the fierce gunfight in Handwara area of North Kashmir's Kupwara district. The paper adds that 3 civilians were killed in Pak shelling. The Asian Age quoting PM Modi says, India won't be helpless in facing of terror, while The Hindu quotes him as saying opposition doubting armed forces helping Pakistan. The Times of India reports on Organization of Islamic Cooperation OIC meeting. After 50 years, Pak boycotts OIC over India's presence. The Statesman quoting External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj says, fight against terror is not a confrontation against religion. She is the first Indian minister to address 57 Islamic nations OIC meet. Pak minister skips summit in protest, reports The Pioneer. On Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar, The Statesman reports Qureshi admits Masood Azhar is in Pakistan and says he is unwell. The Asian Age quoting Senior Union Minister Nitin Gadkari writes, not in PM race, I'm a pure RSS man, nation is supreme. And finally, winter woos, Delhi experiences coldest March night in 40 years. Well, Hindustan Times reports that the minimum temperature recorded was at 6.8 degrees Celsius for the second consecutive day on Friday. And with that, it's back to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Anuja. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Indian Air Force pilot Abhinandan Varthaman returns home. Shelling by Pakistan forces across the LOC in Jammu and Kashmir continues for the 8th day. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says government is committed to the welfare of farmers and fishermen. Prime Minister to inaugurate Construction Technology India 2019 Expo-cum-Conference in New Delhi today. At least 23 security personnel killed in Taliban attack on a joint US-Afghan base in southwestern Afghanistan. And in cricket, India to clash with Australia in their first ODI of the 5-match series in Hyderabad today. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.nic.in. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.